Just chatting.
No, we're
Here it
chatting
is.
now.
Live on Facebook.
Yeah,
The Janice and John Show.
that's right.
Out of the
I'm,
Box 2020, the healthcare edition.
I like that. I'm going to start giving you the job of the intro because I don't feel like doing it today. I don't feel like doing any of this. I don't feel like doing anything, nothing. Obviously, I didn't feel like doing my hair. I didn't feel like doing my makeup. I didn't feel like doing anything today.
Well, that's okay. Sometimes we have those days,
It's
but you're
yeah,
not just laying in bed
no, but I
moping.
want to be.
You're here. So,
That's what I want to be doing. I want to be doing nothing.
it's interesting. I woke up this morning, with the time change and everything, and the time change affects everybody a little differently. And I'm waking up earlier, which I'm glad because I had this goal where I was going to wake up early, do my morning devotions, and then work out, and then go to work. And what ended up happening was I just spent a lot more time doing spiritual wellness in the morning than doing physical wellness. And like I mentioned before, there's a balance, but I just don't feel like it. And then I get caught into going into the next thing that I got to do, which is show up for patients, and that I just really enjoy doing. This morning, Nola's here today, and so Nola came in, and I pretty much just said, I got to warn you, I'm just kind of feeling a little off today, and I'm feeling a little anxious. I don't know why. She's like, "Is it the election?" And I'm like, "Yeah, probably not."
So
But I don't.
you're feeling like that today too?
So yeah, I'm feeling a little off. I'm feeling a little tired.
Mhm.
Um, like I didn't sleep very well. And so what I did was I kind of looked and see, okay, well, what did I eat and drink yesterday? What did I eat and drink the day before? What did I eat and drink then? And see if there's, some kind of correlation with my diet, because I'm that believer that food's the best medicine.
Yeah, yeah.
So I looked back and said, okay, well, there's some things that I could have done better, but nothing too out of the ordinary. It's not like I went ham on eating trick or treat candy and stuff. I didn't drink. I haven't had any
I
sugar.
didn't either. I didn't
So,
have any trick or treat
well,
candy.
no, but you had sugar.
What?
You had sugar and those things that we were talking about beforehand.
I may or may not have had a few adult beverages on
Yeah.
Saturday night. I had the most amazing night Saturday night, and it was so good for my soul. I went out with some really wonderful friends. I have the greatest group of friends, and we had so much fun. I dressed up and I got to be just kind of wild and crazy, and it was so much fun. But I don't think that's why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. Maybe the time changed.
Maybe the time change. I think that everyone expects to have an answer for everything.
Yeah,
When I work
I
with
do.
when I work with my anxiety patients or patients who've experienced anxiety, um, you always want to look at the root cause of what's causing things, and sometimes you just kind of get to a point where something's going on and you don't know why. And sometimes that's part of the acceptance. Is like, you know what? I really have no reason to be anxious this morning. I didn't, and I had some anxiety this morning. Um, I'm a combat veteran. Every once in a while, some things just pop in my head, and I'll reminisce about something, and then I have to use some tools, 4-7-8 breathing, gratitude list, and stuff like that to get out of my funk.
Okay,
Right?
stop. Stop right there for a minute. 4-7-8 breathing.
Yes,
Tell me what that is.
absolutely. So you inhale for 4 seconds through your nose, 4 seconds. Then you hold for 7 seconds, and then you exhale
Okay, all
for
right.
for 8. And so you focus on your breathing, and you're not focusing on yourself. And the same concept as gratitude. We all have so much to be grateful for, even with all the garbage that's going on in the world today, or the crap we see on social media, besides us, because we're awesome.
We are amazing. That's a given. Everybody knows it.
Just ask us.
Just
So, but
yeah.
when you just kind of get caught up in yourself, it becomes a vicious cycle. And so, being grateful for those things, I use a simple gratitude. Even like when I'm in a funk where I just don't feel like doing anything today, I'm like, well, I don't feel like doing much today, and I'm kind of grateful that today I don't have to do much if I don't want to.
I have a lot to do.
But you have a lot to do. So you need to say, you know what? I've got a
Yeah.
lot to be grateful for. I'm kind of feeling in the funk. So I'm grateful for all the people in my life. I'm grateful for my boys. I always say I'm grateful for my cats, even though I don't like cats. I'm grateful for my dogs. And then I go through the letter of alphabet, right? And then I try to go from A to Z. And then sometimes I get to go from Z back to A, and it just really just kind of gives me all these things that I'm grateful for. And then I'm like, well, you know, there's people out there kind of relying on me, that I need to go out and let this grateful light shine on them, right? And so I don't want to take away someone's blessing. And so I got to show up in order to do that.
Whether
And
you want to or not.
whether I want to or not. And here's what usually happens. Um, if I don't show up, I may actually be stealing someone's opportunity to bless me.
That's an interesting way to look at it. Say that again.
If I don't show up, I may not, I may take away the opportunity for someone to bless me. And so it's not
Yeah.
always about me. We have this how can I help culture at Island Direct Primary Care. And so we've been working a lot about just kind of getting our culture down on paper and key characteristics and these things, the things that, our team embodies, right? And so we have this, love your neighbor kind of culture, how can I help kind of culture. And sometimes we need it,
Yes.
right? And
Yeah.
and so I spend a lot of time carrying stuff for my patients, um, because we listen, right? And we listen to everything they say. And sometimes when people get very comfortable here, they tell us everything. And the world is sometimes a very difficult space, and there's a lot of trauma in this world, and a lot of people who never had the opportunity to just confront that trauma. And so sometimes I end up carrying that for a little while, and
Yeah.
so
Speaking of people having trauma and, things being difficult, things really are really difficult. I had a conversation with somebody about this last night about how challenging things are for everybody right now. And then I told this person, I said, but I stop very often, and I'm thankful for all the things that I have, because I know that regardless of how I'm feeling, there are people who would be very happy to have what I have, the
mm,
opportunities, whatever. But something that I didn't realize until I was like probably in my 30s is that I don't know a single person, not one single person that hasn't had like some kind of trauma.
mm,
You know what I mean? Think about that.
sure.
Even like the happiest people, most successful people, like the people who seem like they always show up and they're always on their game and they're always on top of everything, they all have their stuff. We're all broken some kind of sort of way. Anyway.
But yet we're all perfectly made in my eyes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I
You know,
mean, yeah.
it's we really internalize things, and this is part of the challenge today. People are afraid to address the mental health and the emotional health aspect of their life, because they don't want to be labeled. They don't want to be told that they have to take medication. They want to do these things, and surely, I talk a lot about gut health, right? And Your gut releases dopamine and serotonin. Those are your, euphoria neurotransmitters. That's your feel good neurotransmitters. And so if you balance your gut, then you'll balance your brain, so to speak. Um, but it still doesn't mean that there's stuff going on, right?
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to talk to people and to make yourself vulnerable, but yet it's important. If you don't have even if you do have a significant other, I know enough significant others who don't tell their partner everything, because of pride or being ashamed or fear or self-esteem. And I've recalled a lot of things right now that are very common with people who have addictions. And so unless you really take that self inventory to find out, why do I feel the way I feel? And is there someone that I can talk to about it? And look, it's not like just talking to a psychologist or a therapist is going to fix you. It's not how it works. What happens is you're actually facing that trauma. You're facing those thoughts and that thinking, right? Um, that stinking thinking. Again, if you go to any of the you know 12-step type programs that deal with drugs, alcohol, and eating and those kind of things. And it's the thinking that gets you into trouble. So if you just sit there in your own thinking, then you can get in trouble. And so while it's okay to say, you know what, I don't feel like doing much today, but I still have to show up. And so what does show up mean? And so you set some short goals, some small goals, and then you don't beat yourself up. You say, okay, you know what, today I got a call with John. So I'm going to show up, and thank you so much for doing it because it's helped me. And then you have a hair appointment. And so you'll show up for that. And then you have some maybes this evening. And so maybe they happen and maybe they don't. But if not, you showed up. And so the end of the day, you can be grateful that today you showed up and tomorrow you're going to show up and do something different and be done with it.
But
Versus,
sometimes it's okay too to not show up, right? Isn't it? Like, I mean, there are times now that I don't, there are times when, I'm just like, whoa, I can't, just
yeah, so
can't.
there's a fine line, right? If you don't
Mhm.
show up daily
I do
and
now, 99% of the time. I
yeah,
do. But
so
there's,
sometimes you need some you time.
yeah.
That is so I look forward to having alone time to where I'm the only one and I don't have to show up if I don't need to. Family goes out of town for a week or two, and I'm actually looking forward to the holidays. Not so much. I'm looking forward to spending time with family, but I'm going to get a week where it's just going to be me, the dogs,
Oh,
just the dogs and I,
that's
and
nice.
and uh, and so some of those days I'll have work, and I mean all those days I'll have work, but I'll have time in there where I can just sit and self reflect and kind of take a inventory of what I've done this year and where I've been, and then the important step is being grateful for that, and then saying, okay, where do I want to go next year? What do I want to do? And in my case, it's always how can I help, right? And so what's the next steps that I could do for that? And so when you always have people, I don't have to have someone around me to have that conversation with myself, right? Um, but I won't during those times. I don't feel like doing anything. I just kind of just
Well, in all fairness, I push myself pretty hard.
you
And
do.
sometimes I need to stop. I
Yes,
need to not show up sometimes. Today was not one of those days.
but that's an
But
intentional
there's
rest.
times, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, there are times.
you're being intentional, and so if you're intentionally right, you're aware that today I don't want to do anything. I think in moderation that's good. I think that's healthy. You
The
know
pool was calling me today and I did not answer.
why not? You don't
because
have to go till later.
I have, oh, well, that's true. So that's true. You're kind of a good bad influence.
Oh, more than you know.
Okay, we're gonna wrap this up. This is gonna be
Wrap
the
up.
shortest one that we've ever done, I think, the shortest time. And
Probably
it's
not, but maybe.
because I bet it is. I don't know. I wish it had a little timer that told me how long we've been on, but I feel like this was short. And it's all because Janice is tired and I might go to the pool.
You get some
No,
rest.
I have work to do. I have work to do.
Vitamin D,
I've been taking it. I've been taking, oh, some
vitamin
good
C,
natural vitamin D. I've been taking vitamin C.
vitamin C, SEA.
Oh, that. Okay, okay, okay. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I can do that too. All right, thank you.
You're
I'm gonna
welcome.
roll out of here. And so if anybody's watching and you don't feel like showing up, show up, even if it's just for a little while.
Yeah, call someone.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And
Have a
I'll
blessed
see you
day.
next week. You too.
All right. Bye.